What's up? Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I am Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me I have some more RPG horror stories. Also, remember that question about whether I'm a VTuber or not? Yes, you're a VTuber. You're a VTuber. Yes, Morrow, you are a VTuber. Yes, by definition. Yes, you're definitely a VTuber. Yes, you are. You're a VTuber, Morrow. Yep, you're a VTuber. You are a VTuber. You are a VTuber. You are undoubtedly 100% a VTuber. I think you are 100% a VTuber. Well, you're a VTuber that does D&D. Yeah, I consider you a VTuber. Yes, Morrow, you're one of us. Totally a VTuber. Don't think you're a VTuber until you do a stream. Well, guys, the results are in. I'm technically not a VTuber because I have yet to do a stream. By the way, look forward to my new stream coming out this week. Actually, I have no idea. I might do a stream at some point. I don't know what to stream. We could probably, I don't know, play some games or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and get back to RPG horror stories for today. The investigator goes kaboom, or that time I got kicked out of a game for not using the proper dice. I was playing an investigator in Pathfinder game, and apparently my dice caused an issue with the game master. I just purchased a set of barrel dice that fit with the color scheme of my character, and I wanted to use them. When we get ready to play the next session, I take out my dice, and the GM notices that I'm using non-standard dice. I have no idea what barrel dice is, so I'm gonna go ahead and actually look it up, see if that's like a design choice or if it's like a unique special dice. Oh, the long dice, like elongated dice. Oh, that's kind of cool. I don't know what the probability of rolling a specific thing, or maybe there's a difference, like a mathematical difference between regular dice, like a regular d20, or like the barrel die d20. Maybe there's a difference between it. I don't know, but I mean, I don't think if the game is going to be that serious, you're not coming in like, with loaded dice. It's just your dice look kind of funky, and that's about it. But if they have the same functionality and have the same random chance for stuff, then I think it's okay, right? Though I could definitely see why a DM would be a little bit confused over it. I don't know if they'll be intimidated, but confused a little bit. When we get ready to play the next session, I take out my dice, and the GM notices that I'm using non-standard dice. For some reason, he took personal offense that I would use barrel dice. I told him the only reason why I was using them now is because I just purchased them and I wanted to see how well they worked. The only response I got was that I wanted to test out the dice. I should do so at another game, but not his, as he ran very traditionally. Whatever that was supposed to mean. Okay, I'm not gonna say that I understand the probabilities of rolling one dice or the other. Maybe there's a difference, maybe there's not a difference, I don't know. But maybe it would have been cool to be like, hey DM, so I got this really cool dice. Is it cool if I use it in the game? So it just doesn't surprise. Communication with the DM regarding anything at all, whether your character or your different die technique, or whether you want to use physical dice or virtual dice. I mean, you still just want to run it through. I don't think I would really mind if one of my players used barrel dice, but at the end of the day, like, dice are dice. Maybe the DM had like some sort of like a hidden past, or like a tragic past with barrel dice. Maybe the barrel dice killed his family, got cheated on by barrel dice, or I don't know, it stubbed his toe or hurt him or something. I mean, those things look kind of pointy, to be honest. Either way, regardless of how major or minor the thing is, you probably should just let the DM know ahead of time. I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal person myself either, but I do think it might have been cool to just, let your DM know, like, hey, look at these. Mind if I use them? Probably the DM wouldn't mind at all if it wasn't like a surprise. I thought that maybe he's just having a bad day or something, so I use my regular dice. As the game goes on, keeps on looking at me every time I reach for something, as if I'm supposed to pull out the dice that he doesn't like. At the end of the session, he stops so suddenly and tells me to leave because he can't get the image of the barrel dice out of his head and how unnecessary they are. They offend his sense of the game. I just left the game without any further incident because I didn't want to have to deal with any nonsense. Yeah, the barrel dice definitely killed the family, and the family dog too, or something. I don't know, it's kind of weird. I think the DM has actual trauma behind the barrel dice, or maybe they don't know what it's about. They thought like, oh, a player's coming to cheat in my game using something non-standard. I don't know. Or it could be a new DM that's just kind of insecure. Could be anything, could be any various reasons, but I mean, if they want to kick you out, they want to kick you out. They're giving you an out, and now you could find a different group with barrel dice and a DM without a traumatic past with barrel dice. That is, if there's somebody out there that's really good with math and probabilities, that could let me know maybe in the comment section below if like barrel dice have like a better percentage to get like a high roll versus a roll or something. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, there wasn't much explanation or communication. It's just like, how dare you use barrel dice? And then at the end of the game, you are out of my game. I don't want you to use barrel dice in my game. That's weird, but sure. He wrote off my character that my character just suddenly exploded from dynamite that I had in my pocket. The other 3 players dropped his game because they didn't want to deal with the GM like that. Well, time for all of you to find a GM together. Maybe. Well, look at that. Everybody gets an out. Now, let's go ahead and get to the next story, which the title for the next story is probably going to infuriate you, confuse you, or leave you with both. Just giving you a heads up before we dive into the next story. Sorry, you're not autistic. You can't play with us. I was left confused reading the title, but it sounds so intriguing, I can't stop myself. I'm getting addicted to RPG horror story cringe, and I can't stop. Anyway, let's continue with the addiction. This story requires some background. I GM an online game for my group of friends. Somewhat recently, we've had a new player join our group, wanted to bring her husband along. For context, he is autistic and I am not. A couple other players in our group are autistic, so it's nothing new. And the rest of us are all mature and understanding people to boot. It became clear that the husband of the new player was not a fan of how I run games. He didn't like my homebrew setting, he didn't like my hard adherence to the system's rules, and clearly my games just weren't for him. No issue, it happens. But I'm not about to change the way I run for someone new, especially when myself and all the other players enjoy the way I run things. I tell him this in a much nicer and softer tone when he messaged me about his frustrations after he had already made up his mind about wanting to drop out. The first red flag was that despite his wife having plenty of fun and complimenting the game and setting thoroughly, she dropped out along with him. She even told me that she wished she could stay, but felt guilty about doing so. You know, there's a little bit of layer of difficulty, I guess I can say, and complication whenever there is a relationship involved in any sort of like RPG horror story, drama, or stories in general. And on this channel, we have seen it be good and be bad, where, you know, sometimes the couple kind of sticks together no matter what, whether they're in or out. They're in together or they're out together. Or others that kind of respect people's time and just kind of say, hey, listen, you play in your game, I'll do my thing, kind of go from there. You know, it doesn't, basically, the relationship doesn't impede the process of playing a TTRPG. Now, the right outcome would be that, you know, the couple leave and they join a different game and the current game gets to play just fine and there's no issues, but it's an RPG horror story and it was posted on r/RPGHorrorStories for a reason. So let's find out the reason why. Despite game drama, this couple is still in our friend group and we hang out with them, still doing other things. This is where the horror story starts. The husband expresses that he wants to start another game for the autistic people in the group. The only problem is there is only 3 people total who fit that bill, including him. Hardly enough for a game. So he starts stealthily inviting people through Discord DMs, eventually inviting the whole group except me. He tells them that they're allowed in because they're allies. Alright, look, I understand. If you want to have your own personal group or people that you like or people that you enjoy specific games with and stuff, that's completely fine, that's understandable. But excluding somebody because you have a personal grudge just because they weren't catering to your needs for the other game and were a little bit different with their rules and how they run their game, I guess it's not, the player's not really losing out on anything, but I mean, to exclude them on purpose like that, okay, so the situation's kind of turning into a little bit of a personal grudge. As long as it doesn't get toxic, it should be fine, right? I don't want to say this is a bullying tactic already, but I kind of feel like it's going to be used as a bullying tactic, especially since the other players that were invited that didn't fit that specific criteria of being autistic or not are allies, but he is not considered an ally. It's fine to have your own game, but make it for purpose of having fun and setting up your own rules, not to spite somebody. If you're doing things out of spite, then you're already making yourself to be the asshole in the situation, not the person you're trying to spite. Well, lo and behold, they all start to wonder where I am. So a few of them ask, and he makes up the excuse that I declined joining, because the game wasn't my style. Only he is not quick enough, and people have already begun asking me why I'm not in the game. And when I tell them, what new game, they'll realize something is up. Yep, there we go. He gets called out for lying, and it comes to light for everyone that not only was I not invited in the first place, but he did this to purposely exclude me from the rest of the group. Now knowing the full story, everyone else is taking my side and telling him that he is in the wrong. As they should. Honestly, good on the players to point out things that are bad. Because, I mean, listen, if somebody's being a dickhead for the sake of being a dickhead to somebody else just to spite them, yeah, it's good that people are calling him out. It's good that people are speaking up and just not, like, you know, being blind to it. You excluding somebody just because you just dislike him because they didn't cater to your other needs, that's petty. If you dislike him because, let's say, for example, they're obnoxious and disruptive and they just don't vibe with the kind of game game, and maybe you don't like that they're a murder hobo, or they talk over everybody, and they overall create a disturbing, disruptive atmosphere for everybody else, that'd be one thing. But in this situation, you just didn't like how OP ran his games. You didn't like the rules that he set up, and you were like, oh, damn the OP. I'm gonna make sure I strike him back. I'm gonna take his friends away from him. Probably, I don't know if the person sounds like that, but I'm giving him the bad guy evil voice. The BBEG. I'm gonna take away his friends and exclude him from the group just to bully him and show him what's what. Dude, relax. You could be going after anybody at all, but you're going after the guy that has a specific style of game that he likes to play. He likes rule heavy stuff, or he does things in a specific way in his game that he is allowed to do. Listen, you're allowed to do whatever you want in your game, and OP is allowed to do whatever he wants in his game, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you just dislike the guy because he didn't decide to give you a little bit more freedom that you're used to, and you took it personally. That's a dick move. He tries to make excuse, call me ableist, and try to convince everyone that I'm a bad GM because I don't yes and any character idea that gets floated my way. Unsurprisingly, this doesn't get any traction, and he has resolved himself to not speaking. TLDR, a new player tries to steal my group of friends away from me under the guise that I am ableist and a bad GM. It doesn't work very well and blows up in his face. If the story was indeed different and the OP was indeed ableist or some sort of a douchebag, then yeah, I'll be agreeing with with the other player. But in this situation, the guy's just upset that he didn't get his way. If you don't like somebody, you don't like somebody, but just don't go out of your way to do things just out of spite, unless it's healthy spite. Like, let's say for example, somebody's like, oh, you totally can't be an RPG VTuber or something, and you say, yeah, I can, and here I am. Actually, nobody challenged me. I'm really good with challenges. Somebody challenge me in the comments about something so I can like motivate myself, please. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales tomorrow. Bye-bye.